Hello, little Lakers. Back again today for some story time. Today I thought we'd talk about some fun things that happen in the spring and kind of give us a little intro to what we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come. So I have a book called A Butterfly's Life Cycle, and we're going to get some butterflies delivered to the school. I know we're not going to be able to be there to be able to see them in person, but I'll try to take videos and pictures of them and share that with you so that you can see what happens to a butterfly. How do they start? Are they born as a butterfly, or what happens? So let's learn in this book, and then in the days to come we'll be able to start to see once we get our supplies in the mail. So, life in an egg. A female monarch butterfly floats in the air. She is looking for a special plant. At last she finds a milkweed plant and lays her eggs. So butterflies lay eggs, just like ducks and stuff do in the springtime. Caterpillars hatch from eggs. In about a week, these little critters eat their way out of the egg using their strong jaws. So when they're first born, they look like this. That's kind of silly, isn't it? Hungry caterpillars. Hungry caterpillars eat milkweed leaves. They eat until their skin gets too tight. Pop! They molt or shed their old skins, so their skin can actually come off of them. And underneath is a new, larger skin. So here's kind of the old skin coming off of them. A caterpillar sheds its skin 4 or 5 times. The caterpillar hangs upside down from a leaf. It sheds its skin one more time, and a new layer is called a pupa or a chrysalis. Now, we talked about this when we read The Very Hungry Caterpillar. Some people say cocoon, but when you're talking about a butterfly, they make a chrysalis. A moth actually is what makes a cocoon. So we'll call it a chrysalis when we get our caterpillars, and they turn into this type of formation. Inside a pupa, the pupa or the chrysalis hardens as it dries. Inside, a caterpillar's body changes. After about 2 weeks, the pupa opens up. Can you see already something on there that looks like a butterfly? You can kind of see its wing, can't you? I'll try to get as close a pictures as I can when we get ours to that stage to be able to see. A butterfly pulls itself out of the pupa. Its body is wet and folded. Its wings slowly open and dry in the sun. See that? It's starting to come out. Life as a butterfly. All summer, the monarch flies from flower to flower. It unrolls its long tongue to eat. The monarch sucks nectar from the flowers. Yum. So do you see this long stick that's sticking out of it? These are its legs right here. Then it has antennas, but in the very middle, it looks like a leg, but that's actually its tongue. So stick your tongue out. Our tongues aren't that long, are they? But butterflies need long tongues so they can get down into the flowers. Days get shorter, the weather gets cooler. Monarch butterflies know it is time for the long flight south. They rest in the trees along the way. They actually tag monarch butterflies, and they follow their migration patterns. And so I think there's a website that you can go on to, and then you can see where they're at in the fall time on their journey. In spring, the sun warms the butterflies, and they fly back up north. Butterflies mate and the females lay eggs. Caterpillars hatch and molt, and from the chrysalis comes a beautiful butterfly. So this is the cycle. So you see this. So here is a butterfly. It's going to lay a little egg, and the egg will grow into a caterpillar, and then the caterpillar will eat lots and lots of food until it's really, really big, and it'll hang upside down, and then it'll start to form its chrysalis. It'll turn into a chrysalis like this, and then it'll start to look more like this. It'll get really dark, and when it gets really dark, out will come a beautiful butterfly. And that's why they call it a cycle, because it just continues on. And this butterfly will have babies, lay eggs, and it'll go all over again. Very cool. Well, I have another book if you want to stay and listen, and this one is a frog's life cycle. So just like butterflies do, frogs also have life cycles too. And frogs don't start out big like this. Did you know that? No, they don't. So let's find out how a frog's life cycle goes. The first part is called eggs in the pond. Many kinds of frogs live around the world. Frogs are amphibians. They can live in the water or on land. All frogs have the same life cycle. You like that frog? Ribbit. Wood frogs live in wetlands. In spring, females lay eggs in the water. A thick, clear jelly holds the eggs together, and the tadpoles grow inside. Growing tadpoles. Tadpoles hatch from the eggs in about 14 days. That's 2 weeks. Using their long tails, they swim around the pond. Tadpoles eat algae and they grow fast. So now does it look like a frog? Not really, does it? It kind of looks like a fish, maybe even like a little minnow or something. But you can see it's starting to grow legs. So right now it has its head, and then it has a very long tail, and it's starting to grow some legs. And that's called a tadpole. A tadpole's body goes through many changes. First, it grows its back legs. Oh, here they're coming out. Then the lungs take the place of the gills. The tadpole can now breathe out of the water. So when it's just a tadpole, it has to stay in the water. But once it starts to become a frog, then it can go on land too. Next, the tadpole begins to grow front legs. Its tail gets shorter and shorter. Then the tadpole becomes a froglet. So here he is as a frog, but look, he still has this long tail on him. Froglet. Frisky froglets. A froglet spends the time in the water and on land. It uses its new legs to search for food. The froglet hops in the woods looking for insects. His tail is getting shorter though, isn't it? Have you ever seen a frog that has a long tail like that? I've never seen one in person. After about 4 months, a froglet fully loses its tail. It becomes an adult frog. Wood frogs live for 3 to 4 years. So here it's still a baby. It still has its tail. But now in this picture, no more tail. Now it's a full-grown frog. In spring, wood frogs thaw. They hop into ponds. Males croak mating calls to females. The life cycle of a frog begins all over again. So that's pretty cool. 2 books about 2 different animals that have different life cycles. Pretty cool, huh?